And I'm gonna start the record. All right, let's call this regular meeting of Manistee Area Schools Board of Education together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ray Berg.
Here.
Jill Cronin.
Here.
Stacy Cunningham.
Here.
Joan Eckelson.
Here.
Jason Jackson.
Here.
Alan Kalar.
Here.
Krista Moline. Here.
All right. Did everybody get a chance to read through the minutes from last month? Any corrections or comments? Those stand as presented. Any communications or correspondence?
There is, we received one letter from, I read the whole letter, it is from Jehovah Witness group, and it includes their website. I will read it. Dear Trustee Cunningham, greetings. I am writing to you today in your respected position as a trustee of the District Board of Education. My name is Sandra Gumaski. My husband and I live in Manistee. We are Jehovah Witness. During the month of November 2020, Jehovah Witnesses are participating in a worldwide campaign to share the Watchtower with all government officials, both locally and nationally. Your personal copy is enclosed. The title of the magazine is What is God's Kingdom? To find the answer to that question, we really need to understand the term kingdom, what the term kingdom means in this context. This is especially true since Christians have been praying for that kingdom to come on earth as it is in heaven ever since Jesus taught us the Lord's Prayer. The scripture at Isaiah 9:6 helps us to see what the kingdom actually is. Please note, I quote, for a child is born to us, a son has been given to us, and the rulership will rest on his shoulders. That rulership is God's kingdom and actual worldwide government for the earth. The magazine will explain why we need it and what it will accomplish. Please enjoy reading it. I'm available to answer your questions you may have about the campaign or the beliefs or activities of Jehovah Witnesses. My phone number is 986-0042. The website for Jehovah Witnesses is jw.org. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Sandra Gumaski. And that is all. And there is a brochure if anyone.
Thank you. Okay, we are at our first public comment session. This is public comment on agenda items. Is there any public comment on agenda items? Any public comment on agenda items?
They can unmute.
If there's anyone in the audience that is watching remotely, you can unmute and ask, make a statement if you have any public comment. Any public comment on the agenda? Okay. Mr. Parmentier.
Okay, I am going to start out. Loyal Anderson has turned in his paperwork and plans on retiring December 31st, 2020. He has worked 28 years with our district. I wish Loyal well. He is utilizing his sick leave time as we speak. We have, in October, the cross country had their finals. Manistee brought home 5 medals and 4 personal records. Grant Mason was a medalist. Austin Mishnell was a medalist. Jacob Berry was a medalist. Clara Gilroy was a medalist and had a personal record. Aubrey Ekstrom was a medalist and also had a personal record. Jude Way had a personal record, and Alex Ziemba had a personal record. We have several of our students received awards for football, the Westpac All-Conference, Defense First Team. Brandon Mason was named. Honorable mentions on offense was Wyatt Gerke, and on defense, Lucas Gould. Our volleyball awards also came out. Both the JV and varsity were co-champions this year. Co-player of the year, Kayla Muth. First team, Madison Zeller and Brooke Ritchie. Honorable mentions, Emma Jones and Ella Shooter. Defensive team, Madison Zeller. In this report, I included the last 2 weeks that I've had with, every Wednesday we have a meeting with the health departments, and it's just some of the data that has occurred within that week as well as totals. So the notes that I have here are from November 11th. For example, Delta County had 310 positive cases. That is in 1 week. There's 1,603 lab confirmed. There's 182 probable and 50 deaths. There's 1,026 daily cases per million, which is the second highest in the state. Menominee County had 145 positive cases in that week, 880 lab confirmed cases, 90 probable, and 8 deaths. And they are 695 daily cases per million. Here in Schoolcraft, we had 23 cases for 1 week. We have a total of 132 total cases and 460 daily cases per million. The hospital capacity in our area and in the UP is becoming more of a concern due to staff shortages as well as bed shortages. The testing positivity rate for our county last week was 8.6, which is up from 4.3 from the previous week. You had Delta County, which was at 19.1% positivity, and they were up from 17.3 the previous week. And Menominee was at 8.7, and that was up from 8.0 the week earlier. So as you see, the cases are increasing throughout our area. The main symptoms that we're seeing here in the UP are fatigue and weakness, cough, headaches, congestion, muscle aches, runny nose, and fever.
In that order, Howard?
In that order.
Okay.
Normally they do percentages, but they did not give them for the previous week. I will say fatigue and weakness is normally around 65%. If you look at previous, cough is probably 63, 64. Headaches are 61, 62. Congestion is 57. Muscle aches are normally around 55. 53 for runny nose, and it's about 47% with fevers. And I'm just going by numbers from many previous weeks. Like I said, I did include the notes from November 4th just to show the differences. Staff updates. We have posted for a music teacher with an emphasis on choir. I'll be talking a little bit about that when we talk about our board reports. And we've had 2 staff that have submitted their resumes to Jennifer, and Jennifer's talked with them. We are in the process of hiring 1 now. We have not received that paperwork back, but next month is when we will have an action item to hire Ms. Arnold. We also are talking with another teacher that we are looking to put into one of our classrooms. But we have not received the paperwork on that yet. COVID-19 update. To date, we've had 6 positive cases within our school. That's both staff as well as students, and it's affected 98 individuals, also staff and students. The E4 program update from Tricia McEvers. The E4 project fiscal year began October 1st. We have exceeded the program requirements here at MAS location despite our shutdown. And it was a very positive first year talking with Ms. McEvers. Our students are definitely utilizing the program, and some of the final year 1920 highlights. We had 52 unduplicated users. The target was 50 for our first year. That's 35 females and 17 male users. There's 483 completed therapy sessions. That's 378 in person and 105 virtual. The top 5 diagnoses treated in the order from highest was generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, ADHD, adjustment disorder with anxiety, and adjustment disorder with anxiety and depressed mood. I am bringing to the board tonight a proposal that we be changing November 23rd and 24th in-person instruction days to virtual learning days. The reason for this proposal is that the staff have been working with their students in the classrooms on using Zoom, Google Meet, and different platforms. I would like to utilize these 2 days as trials. Because of the possibility of having to return to virtual learning, or virtual only learning is always looming, and it has occurred here at the high school. I would still like to utilize those days for the elementary and middle school. I believe that it would test our technology and also our instructional protocols that we put in place. So that will be an action item later. In doing so, we'd be running those days as if we were in session. So therefore, the preschool would be in session. Busing for the preschool students would be in session. They'd be driven here. Lunches would be included for those students, as well as students that would like to pick them up here at the school, as well as we would have pickup locations in Germfast at the community center, in Gulliver at Crossroads, and in Cooks at Linda's Bread Box. Support staff would be given the option that if they would like to work, they could be reassigned for that day and we have jobs here for them. Or if they choose that they do not want to work, it'd be a non-paid day for them. My final item here is what we all heard last night. With the emergency order under the Michigan Public Health Code, all in-person activities for 9-12 students are suspended starting Wednesday, November 18th through Tuesday, December 8th. Just to summarize, what those include would be in-person instruction for 9 through 12th grade is suspended with the exception of special ed students or English language learners. So if there are special ed students that chose to come in, whether it be for math or resource room time, however, that would still remain open for them. K-12 athletics, practices and competitions, and extracurricular activities are suspended for those 3 weeks. Pre-K to 8, in-person instruction is permitted at the discretion of the district and the health department. I have been in contact with Nick DeRocha from LMAS, and at this time, he is comfortable with where we are in our community, that we continue in-person instruction. He did make sure that he noted that that can change literally within an hour, but at this time, he is comfortable with us moving forward. Buildings may be used for basic services such as food distribution, which we will be utilizing, internet facilitation for students. So if students need to come to the building because they do not have internet, we would have a place for them. Healthcare, mental health services. So Tricia McEvers could still be seeing the students that she services, and childcare. GSRP and early childhood education would still be going on during that time. That is all that I have.
Thank you. Any administrative reports? Oh, hang on, sorry, I'm on the wrong, I was looking at supervisor. Mr. Shiner, would you like to talk to us?
Sure, and if you don't mind, I'll stay seated over here. A couple things to follow up on. We always talk about what's going on with MTSS. Letting the board know that our tier 2 and tier 3 interventions continue with the start of the second quarter. Our district intervention team met on the 9th to discuss relevant postings. The board asked me to get back to them on how our attendance was doing. So following that board meeting, Amy and I sat down and looked at 2 or 3 weeks in a row. We're still hanging on at that time below 90% range. The board also has asked me to report out the number of seniors that were failing, therefore lost open camp privileges. At the time of this writing, there were 3 seniors only, which is down from where it was, so I'm pretty happy about that. We did receive a request from the state level. In the world of acronyms, this is MyEWIMS, which is a team that supports the early warning system at the state level. And we are going to continue our partnership with them as they improve the platform to help us identify the students that need tiered support. And we are very fortunate that Mary Hook is on board, because to be honest with you, if Mary wasn't here, that we would not be able to support that program. I did want the board to have a quick look at some MDE trend data. I don't know if you see this sheet in your packet there. I have mixed emotions about how the Department of Education ranks or tells us how we're doing.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's good to, let numbers give you a picture. So back in the 15-16 school year is when they gave up that last system where we were different colors. We were lime, or we were orange, or we were red, or I can't remember them now. There's been a lot of different ways that they rank us over the years. But now we have what's called a school overview. And if you direct your eyes to the upper left-hand corner, where you see the overall index number starting with 2016-17, and then you follow that downward, you can see that we made a small jump in 17-18, and then in 18-19, which is the last time we had state standardized testing that filled into this ranking system, we moved to an 81.48. So all of those factors that surrounded growth index, graduation rate, all pile into at different degrees, giving that overall index a value. I can't proclaim to know how each one is weighted, but they all feed into that overall index. So I think it's a real testament to my staff's efforts that in spite of sometimes uphill battles, they continue to show progress. And because of my competitive nature, I could not stop myself from seeing how our numbers stacked up against schools across the Upper Peninsula. At that rank, we are sitting at number 10 in the UP, which I think I'm okay with. I think that we're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna find ourselves even higher. But again, very proud of the staff. And again, you know, it's nice that they give us a number, but it's also nice when you see a kid who doesn't talk one school year and the next year it becomes communicative. And those are the small victories that these numbers don't portray. But anyway, it's a nice snapshot of what the staff has been up to. A big congratulations to the Lady Emeralds on another successful and emotional season.
Yeah.
I was looking at the girls on the floor, and I remember telling a group of girls about 5 years ago, maybe it was the Lexi Carlsons of the world, as this group of girls sat on the bleachers behind them in awe. And all these little girls on the floor now were little pipsqueaks staring at these girls, and how the times have progressed forward and how these girls are on the floor. It kind of sets in what a positive program the Nixons have established. So congratulations to them and to our girls. And then just an update, which I'm not going to read because I've already been speaking much longer than I care to, on the professional development that happened last week. Continuation, excuse me, it wasn't last week, but the week before. Continuations of what we started in the beginning of the school year and forging into some new grounds, both with Christy Latch, Mike Mackey, and Eric Mason. And then finally, the board should know that we used PTC Fast, which was a virtual scheduling of conferences as a continued effort to keep our staff safe. Thank you.
I would like to add a compliment to Mr. Shiner. I am just speaking out of turn, but this is a good time since he just spoke. I was at a volleyball game in the school on Thursday that had two opponents that were not from Manistee, and they do not take mask wearing as seriously as we do in our school. And Mr. Schreiner did a very good job at talking to individuals that then still didn't really comply, and he made announcements, and I think people started getting the picture because they were going to be removed, and I wanted to stand up and clap, so I appreciate that because that's how we can stay open and keep moving forward. So good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Boyle.
Okay, so I left the reading program on there because I know that we're still looking at that. We did have 5 students that came back from distance learning to in-person learning at the November 9th time period. We did our parent-teacher conferences either on Zoom or parent phone calls. We did have 84% attendance for the conferences, and that's not in your report, but I calculated that today. Building updates. We did reward bingo on Friday, November 6th. The next reward day will be Sundays in the movie. The teachers made intervention plans for reading intervention time, and we'll be working with a literacy coach from the ISD on December 4th. Building leadership team, we discussed the use of seminar time. We are going to also be talking about how we'll do Santa. I don't think I added that on here, but that's something that we have to think about. Celebrations, referrals have decreased by 374 referrals from last year at this time, and they put the graph on there. We talked about how the policy of using separate cohorts is helping reduce behaviors and keep the kids safe. At the time when I turned this report in, I believed that Ms. Arnold would be primarily math intervention, but it has been changed to more art. So she will have at least one 45-minute period per grade level to work on math. And then I listed the exceptional explorers. So that's it.
Thank you. Okay, now supervisory reports. Do you have anything, Ms. Suck?
I have lots of stuff, but I'm good tonight.
Okay. I just want to say, again, thank you for the information in the paper. That's very, very good to see. Board reports and requests. Anything other than finance?
Just finance. We met twice in October after our October board meeting. The first was to review the kindergarten readiness and the possibility of posting for a teacher. The committee decided that they would hold off, and we are looking at numbers as the year goes. We met on the 30th to discuss the hiring of possibly a music teacher, as well as discussion with the 2 elementary teachers that we have offered positions to. In addition to talking about advertising monies. So the committee did move forward with posting for the music position with an emphasis on choir. It was discussed at that meeting, as time goes on and our enrollment is declining, the possibility that we will be using special teachers in a shared program between the elementary, the middle, and the high school. At some point, not necessarily right away, but just looking at that piece of it.
Okay, any requests, board requests? Okay, we're on to action items. Review and accept the June 30, 2020 financial audit.
We're gonna have to table that.
I
was
wondered.
hopeful, yeah, I was really hopeful, but there's been one delay after another. It's like the rest of the world, but
Okay,
hopefully next month.
all right, so that action item has been tabled. Review and approve the October 2020 financial report.
Okay, well, I guess before I get into this, typically in November, we would be amending the budget. But there again, we're missing some really key numbers, and it seemed kind of silly to amend it in November and then in December have it be so drastically different. So we will have our budget amendment in December, once we get some final state aid numbers and some final grant guidance. And that being said, the budget's not that bad, but it is missing some key grant budget numbers. Our revenue is at the end of October was $1,067,484, and our expenses were $2,242,495 for a deficit of not really a deficit, but overspending by $1,175,011. And it looks kind of frightening, so I went back to last year, October, and it is so close, it's frightening.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
frightening.
it's the normal trend. Expenses are up front. The taxes will start coming in pretty soon. We finally got our first state aid check in October. We'll be getting one next week. So honestly, everything is right on track,
Okay,
right where it should be.
is there a motion?
I move we approve the October 2020 financial report.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Right, next we need to approve November 23 and 24 as distance learning days.
As I stated before, we'd like to just use those days, especially now that we have the high school. We're kind of getting a taste of that. I do believe that the elementary, we are going to have more technical difficulties with those students, and it's going to allow not only Mary and the staff an opportunity to fix that before, if we go into an all virtual learning.
Do you want me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay. I move we approve the November 23rd and 24th, 2020 days as distance learning days.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
So is, to help myself and the audience understand this, teachers will be teaching from their classrooms?
Yes,
Okay, to kids over Zoom or whatever their platform
yes.
is.
We want to treat it as a regular day.
Yep.
The staff will be here because we want to make sure that our connectivity issues, which I don't believe are a problem, but we want to,
They are if they have to teach from home. But, okay, so teachers in their classrooms, kids learning from home.
And we will be distributing meals that day too.
Excellent.
the preschool will be in session. Buses will be rolling for those, I think, 5 or 6 students.
Maybe one bus can roll for all of them.
Okay, all in favor of the November 23 and 24, 2020 distance learning days, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, very good. Next one is appoint the MTSS extra duty positions.
The MTSS district team met. We have several positions both at the elementary and at the high school that needed to be filled or at least acknowledged by the board. And when we put out the posting for instructional coach, which would be one at the elementary, one at the middle high, systems coach, one at the elementary, one at the middle high school, and then a district coordinator, which would be just one individual. We received Elisha Dowdy talked about her interest, and we've offered that position to her as instructional coach at Emerald. And Eric Mason, who has been doing the instructional and systems coaching here at the middle high school, he put in for those as well as for the district coordinator position. So I am requesting from the board the approval of hiring Elisha and Eric in those designated roles.
I move we appoint MTSS extra duty positions as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Alan?
What, do they currently have teaching duties?
Yes,
What will happen to those duties? Will they keep them?
yes.
Anything else? All in favor of the MTSS extra duty positions as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay,
Ray, can I jump in? One thing I should have said before, right now, we do have grant monies through MTSS that will pay for those positions at least for the next couple of years.
oh, cool. All right. Now we need to approve new employees through EduStaff.
Well, we have, are there 3?
There's 3. Yes.
Michael Barnes, who we've hired to replace Loyal, he has started. And we have 2 in the cafeteria, Crystal Snyder, in which she is in the cook's position, correct, Donna?
Yeah, they're both cooks.
And we have
Bobby Pilon.
Bobby Pilon, also in cafeteria.
I move we approve the new employees through EduStaff as mentioned.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, now we have to approve the reconfirmation of the MAS extended COVID-19 learning plan, which will change pretty much immediately, but we have to do it now.
Not much has changed from the last time that we reconfirmed. Next month, it will change drastically because of the shutdown of the high school.
I move we approve the reconfirmation of the MAS extended COVID-19 learning plan.
Second.
Can you point out any changes from last month?
The one thing that I did want to mention as I was looking at it, and I don't know why, but the percentages stayed the same, so I don't know if I saved over it. I know that there wasn't a drastic change in that, but I will need to send that out tomorrow because I don't have the one that I thought I sent out.
Got it. Okay, so we are going to vote on the reconfirmation of the plan that is supposed to be sent out.
The only thing that changed is, and it's very slight, are the percentages.
Because a few students
For a few,
changed it to March.
for the few students that move from one position to another.
Right, and this
So
one
for the
says,
alternative, there would be no change because they are still all butts in seat. Next month, that will look different because of our current situation, as well as in the high school.
Got it.
Just got a question. What do you mean by the interaction rates on the chart here? Two-way interaction rates that,
For those that are distance learning, there has to be two-way interaction, which means that the teacher is either speaking with them or they're sitting on Zoom, or it could just be the attendance. So if I'm the teacher and you are here that day, that is the interaction where we know that you're in class.
so some of the 100% remote, we only had 9% interaction rate. Is that 9% of the total population or 9% of the kids who are remote?
9% of the kids that are remote, that 9% of them are remote.
So we had 100% interaction.
So
For-
those totals add up, Al.
Yeah.
The all
Right.
students, the 100% remote and not remote, total all students.
So we've had a
So-
100% interaction rate with
Yes.
all students in our district.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not that we're missing anyone, it's just divided by those that are in seat and those are at home.
So if someone was at home and they weren't participating at all, is where the number would drop,
Yes.
just for clarification, thank you.
Everybody comfortable? All right, all in favor of the reconfirmation of the MAS extended COVID-19 learning plan, say aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, now we need to accept the report from the Schoolcraft County Board of Canvassers for the November 3, 2020 school election.
And I just sent that out today. I probably should have brought hard copies. But basically what it is telling us is that they're declaring that Ray Burr, Jason Jackson, and Krista Moline were elected to 4-year terms, and Mary Hicks was elected to a 2-year term. And this is kind of just a formality.
So we have to accept,
We have
Yeah.
to accept the report.
I move that we accept the report from Schoolcraft County Board of Canvassers for the election.
second.
All righty, any comments? Yes?
I got a question. On high school going to virtual learning, are we going to give the elementary school kids
Okay,
a
hold
chance?
on, we're on a different motion right now. But you get a chance to bring that up. Is there any discussion on the election results?
Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've had more condolences than congratulations. And I always tell them, no, it's not like that.
Maybe just because of COVID.
Yes, but all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All righty. Okay, now we come to public comment. And
I just got it. High school switching to virtual learning. Grade school staying where they at. Are we gonna open the door to kids who, like in the grade school, who may be attending in person, want to go to virtual learning because maybe older brother and sisters done that, or are we gonna stay firm in our original plan?
We've talked about it as far as administration, and as far as the free movement has always occurred at the quarter, at the end of the marking periods. Working with the policy committee, we did talk about that if there's times outside that window that a parent would like to move, the parent can request, send in a letter with the request. And on that committee is Jennifer, John, and myself. Obviously, we need to be very careful because if we allow kids to go back and forth, it's a nightmare for the administrative assistants within the building as well as the teachers. So we are kind of firm as far as when students need to leave, and there's always exceptions to the rule, but if they have a medical reason, and that could be either for themselves or for family members within the house, that those would be acceptable and we would allow them to leave with a medical reason. We've had some that just say, well, conversations I've had with parents today, well, if I have my older kids that are staying home, I'm going to keep my younger ones. That is not a reason. I think we've talked as a board and in committee that the best learning is going to take place with butts in seat. And it's significantly different in which I'm not happy with where the high school is, being out, but they have more tools at their disposal to be successful. If we were to close our elementary, kindergartners, that would be very tough. First grade, again, tough. You get into fourth and fifth, there would be some that could be successful, but there are also those that are not. So at this point, talking with the administrators, we need to stand firm because if we allow that to be going back and forth, it's going to be a headache for the teachers for one, as well as the administrative assistants that are putting them in those categories.
Thank you.
John, Jennifer, anything that?
John ran out.
No,
no,
he's
that
there.
was,
No, it's fair assessment.
So there may be a difference in attendance rates when there is a state lockdown, but that is forthcoming, so.
Yes.
How does the state count school days for being, we have to have so many kids in the school?
It is no longer school days. It is now counted that we have to teach 180 days worth of lesson plans of curriculum. So that's how the state is looking at the schools for this year. Just because there are some students that are virtual. They want to make sure that whatever your curriculum is for biology for the 180 days, in our time period for this year, we are expected to make sure that we teach that. So there may be days that they have to double up. Maybe there's days that they can slow down a little bit. The one thing and I'm putting words in teachers' mouths, but I do know that when I was in the classroom, it is always difficult to get through all your curriculum.
good? All right, is there any public comment on anything? Anybody out remotely? Unmute and you can speak for 3 minutes. Please identify yourself. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right. No public comment, and we are ready to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.